Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you the 15-minute core workout that I have devised. So these are exercises that I've picked up over the years, and before we start we're going to warm up, so please join me doing arm swings, some side to side, up and down. I'm sorry that I'm not fitting into the image properly. It's all very amateurish, but the important thing is to do the exercises. So some hip circles, both directions, and reach over each side, straightening the arms so you're stretching out the sides, and also twisting forwards so that you start to warm up your back. Wrists, we're going to be doing some exercises on our hands, so it's important to make sure wrists are warm. Again, arm raises up and down, and also the groin, so opening your leg up to the side and then forwards, closing the gate forwards. Both legs, maybe 6 or so times. Some leg swings, so balancing on one leg, trying to warm up the legs as well. The other leg. So the leg swings to the side, let's do some forwards and backwards. And the other leg, maybe 6 or 7 times. Reach up onto your toes and then bend your knees, bend forward, so stretching the back and the legs. Walk your hands forward and do an upward facing dog, so you're looking up, your hips are off the ground, stretching. You can look to the right hand side and the left hand side. Twist the back a little bit and walk the dog, so pump your calves, pedal them up and down. Maybe another upward facing dog. Just try to get the body warmed up and the mind in the right mind frame to do some exercise. So a few more arm swings, do whatever you need to do. If you need to warm anything up, press pause and we'll go straight into it now. The first exercise we're going to do is the tuck planche, and you need to really warm your wrists up for this because you're going to be putting all your body weight on your hands. And if you don't have parallettes at home, you can just use 2 books, 2 novels, so 2 thick books. And what you're going to try and do is bring your knees up to your chest and then try to balance on your hands by bringing your heels up to your bum. As you can see, it's quite difficult. I can't really do it. Just balance for, a quarter of a second or something. And we're just going to try and do this 10 times. Just trying to pull in the core muscles, pull in stomach muscles, pull everything in and try and lift up and balance on your hands. So try and do that 10 times. The next exercise is the one leg elevated lunge squat. So you're going to use your chair, or in my case I have a banister, so it's a bit higher than a chair, so this makes it a little bit more challenging, but a chair is also fine. So you're going to take a really big step forward, so almost as far as you can, and then from that position you're going to lower slowly up and down. You're going to make sure that your knee is going straight forwards over your feet, in the direction of your toes and not out to the outside or inside. You also want to make sure that your knee isn't going too far forward, so that you're trying as much as you can to lower your hips down and not coming forwards over your foot. So your knee should never be beyond your toes. With this exercise you can also make it more challenging by using a weight, so something heavy. You'll see in one of the upcoming exercises where I'm using something that around the house, but A good thing to use, for example, is maybe a 5 litre bottle of water. You could even fill that with soil or sand to make it even heavier. Or if you have weights like dumbbells or even a barbell at home, then you can also just hold onto those and do your lunge squats with the weight. So 20 reps on each leg. The next exercise is a challenging one. Shoulder press-ups with elevated legs. You're going to put your feet up onto the chair or something higher, and in that position, going to form a right angle with your, as far as you can, with your legs and your torso, and then try to do 10 press-ups. Your elbows should be going out to the sides. So in the next exercise, we'll be using our mats, so lying on the floor. And I just wanted to stress the importance of ensuring that when you're doing exercises lying on your back, that you push your lower back down onto the mat. So this means tilting your pelvis upwards so that your whole back is flat down on the mat. That's quite important. The next exercise is V toe touch sit-ups. So you're going to have straight legs and you're going to reach up and try to touch your toes. So doing 10 reps of this exercise. And as you might be able to notice, I'm also wearing ankle weights. So just to make it a bit more challenging, you could also, for example, hold a weight or a bottle of water or sand in your hands and try to reach up and touch them to your feet. The next exercise is the one leg push-up and side plank combination. So you're going to do a push-up with one leg straight back, and then from there go straight into a side plank. So try to do 5 on each side. So when you're up, you switch legs, do your push-up, and then you go into a side plank. If you can't do a full push-up from your feet, you can also go onto your knees. So use the mat, put your knees on the mat, and then take one leg straight back, do your push-up, and then do a side plank. Similarly, if you cannot do a side plank with the leg raised, the other leg raised up into the air, you can just put your feet together or even put both feet on the floor. So the foot that's on top can go a little bit in front and both feet can be on the floor when you do your side plank. And then if you need to, you can put one knee down onto the mat for your push-up. Next exercise is an abs exercise, scissors. So I'm in a crunch position, so trying to have my lower back on the floor, and you just take your legs out to the side and then just continue to cross them over each other. So I'm going for 40 reps. If you are struggling to hold yourself up, you can also put your arms down by your side and sort of use your elbows to prop yourself up. As you can see, I'm using the ankle weights, so just to make it a little bit more difficult. If possible, try to keep your legs as straight as you can and your toes pointed. We're now going to do lunge twists with a weight. So you're going to take a big step forward and hold something relatively heavy in front of you, keeping your arms as straight as you can. Again, like in the previous lunge exercise, you want your knee to be going straight forwards over your foot and not out to the right or the left. You want to try to make a 90-degree bend with your front leg, so it's going down quite low, and your back knee should also be bent and reaching towards the ground. It's okay if you wobble, just as long as you keep going. As you can see, I've got a big urn made of wood, and I've put also my ankle weights inside it just to make it a bit heavier still. So a big piece of wood, as I've suggested before, a big bottle of water or sand, or maybe a box with books in. So these are lots of different things around the house that you can find and use to help you train at home. So I'm trying to keep my arms as straight as I can and twisting my shoulders as far around as possible. One important thing to note is that I'm twisting in the direction of the leg that's in front. So I've got my right leg in front and I'm twisting my torso as far as I can to the right and then back again. So a good number to aim for is 20 reps, but if you think you can do more, sometimes I do a little extra, try and do a little bit more, so I'm going to do an extra 10 on each side now, so that will be 30 on each side, but 20 is a good number, or 25. Work from where you are and try to improve. Again, so I'm trying to bring my hips low as I can so that I'm really in a low lunge position and really engaging the core muscles, trying to keep my arms as straight as I can, twisting as far around as I can. We're now going to do another abs exercise, bicycle crunches. So come up into a crunch and then lift your legs up, and you're going to bring the opposite knee to the opposite elbow. Ideally, you should have your hands interlaced behind your head, and your legs should never touch the ground until you've finished your set. So you'll also notice that my shoulders aren't touching the ground. I'm trying to keep them off the ground. So going for 20 reps, and try to breathe out as you come up and then breathe in as you go back into the lower position. Again, I'm wearing my ankle weights just to make it a bit more challenging, and if you still feel that you could do a bit more, then you can, after doing the 20 reps, you can do another 10 at the end, which is what I'm doing here. So trying to really contract your stomach muscles and bring yourself as close to your knee as you can. We're now going to do side hip raises with a crunch if you want to or can. So I'm going to start on the side plank, drop the hips down, raise them as high as you can, then lift the leg and bring the knee to the elbow. So each time you go down and up, it counts as one. It's quite a tricky exercise, so this is why the crunch part is optional. You still get a very good workout on your side ab muscles if you just keep your feet together and just lower and raise. It's quite challenging also on the wrists, so that's why it's important to make sure that your wrists are warm before you take on an exercise like this, because you're putting all your weight into one hand. And again, lowering the hips as far down as I can, lifting up as high as I can, and then lifting the legs straight up and bending and bringing it in towards the elbow. You want to try and be as controlled as possible, using your core muscles, so pulling in your stomach muscles, so you're trying not to move backwards or forwards, but try and remain as still as possible. Now going to use the mat again, so ensuring that the lower back is push down into the mat. You go up into a crunch, straighten the legs, up, and then do flutter kicks. So you're keeping the legs straight, pointing the toes, and trying to be nice and controlled, keeping the shoulders lifted off the ground. Again, if it's difficult to keep your shoulders lifted like I'm doing, you can also just put your arms by your sides and prop yourself up with your forearms so your hands are flat down on the ground, and this will help you to be stable and to do the exercise almost as effectively as the way I'm doing. We're now going to do an exercise for the arms, which are dips. So you're going to do one leg dips in order to help activate your core. So you straighten the leg and then bend from the elbows. Note how my arms are pointing in the same direction as my legs. So you're trying to bend so that your elbows go straight back. Every time you complete a rep, try to push your hips up so that you're trying to raise the hips up again as high as you can. So 20 reps in total, so 10 on each leg. I'm using my ankle weights again just to have a little bit more resistance. This is a great exercise, a tough exercise, but one that you will grow to love. We're now going to do another core exercise, dish holds. So you want to have your arms up and your legs also raised, but at about 30 degrees or so. And then you're going to lower a few degrees and hold this position for 10 seconds. So you're pulling your abs in and your lower back is pushed down to the ground, and then you finally lower to the third position. So this exercise has 3 positions, each one of which you're going to hold for 10 seconds, and you do that 3 times. So you're up, high, 10 seconds, lower to a middle position for 10 seconds, and then lower so that your legs are just a few inches off the ground and your arms are as close to the ground as you can. You need to have a rest between the sets, that's okay. Again, I'm using my ankle weights. You could also have a weight in your arms, in your hands, so that you weigh your arms down a bit. So up in the highest position, and lower into the middle position, 10 seconds, and then finally in the lowest position, try and hold that for 10 seconds, keep breathing, pull in the stomach muscles, pull the lower back down, and slowly lower down to the ground. So, the last exercise, well done for making it this far in our 15-minute core and general total body workout. The exercise is simply to hold the plank. If you'd like a bit more of a challenge, or maybe you find just holding a plank boring, then what you can do is walk out. So you walk the right foot out, the left foot out, and the right foot in and the left foot in. So you try to alternate which foot goes out first. So you can do right, left, and then left, right, as you can see from the video. So it's a way to make holding the plank a bit more interesting. I'd advise you to find a song that you find particularly motivating and to time yourself. So this is your own little challenge. Try to do at least 1 minute, and then you can just keep working and try to keep going longer and longer into the song. So that was it. Well done, guys, if you made it to the end and you completed all the exercises. I'm proud of you. Keep that up and you'll see some big improvement over time. I've got a couple of bonus exercises for any of you who want to try something a little bit more challenging. I'm quite a fan of yoga, and this is an exercise that is quite similar to yoga exercise. You start in the crow pose, then you go into a headstand, and from there you basically draw circles with your legs going all the way down to the floor and then up in the middle, out to the sides, round, down and up. So if you can do 10 of those going all the way down to the floor and up again, you will really feel it in your core. Back into crow and out again. The next one is also a headstand, but starting from the floor. So just a normal headstand, and then you try to lower your legs straight down and up. As you can see, I'm just getting to 90 degrees. Actually, you want to be able to touch your feet almost to the floor and back again, but that is really tough. So just work from whatever level you have. Maybe you can just hold the headstand. That's still a very good way to practice. So as with the first exercise, starting in the crow or the bird pose, go into a headstand, but then you can also try to balance on one arm. So it's sort of like a side balance. This is another very good way to challenge your core strength. If you fall, don't worry, go back into the pose and try and come out of the pose the same way you started. And finally, dolphin pose. So this is just a normal yoga pose, but it's very good for practicing your core strength. If you have access to a bar, maybe in your local park, or in my case, in the stairwell outside my house, you can also do some very good exercises for your core whilst you're hanging. So this one, you take your feet up to the side like a side crunch from hanging. You can also do a crunch when you lift your knees up and then take them to the side. Another variation of this is called, some people call it the tick-tock, where you try to hold your knees up and then go from side to side. If you can do that with straight legs, then that's amazing. Doing straight leg lifts, so trying to lift your legs up straight all the way up to your hands. You can also just try to hold the L shape, so holding your legs at 90 degrees. If you can't hold it, then you can try to pulse up and down, so small lifts. And finally, the pull-ups, trying to keep a nice strong core position, so your body in one straight line, so you're not swinging all around, but you're keeping your legs slightly in front so that your core is engaged. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and good luck with your training.